You see, your problem is you always want the instant, you want the quick way, you want to figure out the most fastest way to get to your goal. But you have to understand that your goal requires effort, momentum, and accumulation of the energy that you are inputting into yourself. You have to understand that just like an outlet, your conduct is going to reflect into your reality. And so if you want to conduct yourself in an inferior manner, to put yourself in inferior situations by indulging in inferior habits, well, your reality is going to reflect a mediocre existence. And so you have to understand that your conduct is the only solution. And so we can sit here and we can, talk motivational, we can yell and we can scream, and, we can tell you in every different formulation of linguistical communication. But the deepest truth is that all you need to do is rid all your negative habits and amplify all your positive habits. And if you can't rid your negative habits, you simply just don't love yourself enough to give up the chains that are keeping you trapped in the abyss of the universe, to sit there in the darkness, in the void, instead of to evolve and to become the light yourself. And so you have to understand that as you walk and you waste the life that you only get once, and then you smile at the mediocre piece of shit in the mirror that always feels himself when he says he wants to do something, you have to understand that you are a walking ball of just desire, unfulfilled desire, and you're doing nothing to fulfill it. You want to get jacked, you want to get rich, you want to get all these important things that your soul is telling you to do, but you rather sit there in your inadequacy and then reverberate it and postulate it with this fake envious energy and pretend as if everything is okay, but you are really just failing at life miserably. And the only thing you can do is laugh at your failure, because you yourself deep down know how mediocre you are. Every time you pick up the fucking www.com fucking Pornhub, you open the Pornhub, you stroke your dick in your vehicle. This is the individual that you are. And so we can sit here and we can laugh at your inadequacy, and we can make you feel apathetic, and we can make you feel shameful about it. But the only truth is you need to change that. And if you don't change that, you are going to die a bitch. And so I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to induce fear into your fucking consciousness to hopefully make you, become a more intelligent individual, to make more intelligent decisions, to do something with the life you only get once. I'm simply going to tell you that if you don't make a change, you are going to die a bitch. You are going to fail at life. You are going to sit there and you're going to waste the life that you only get once. And then on your deathbed, you're going to experience everything that you fucked up at. You're going to experience all the regret that you repressed. And so every time you do something negative to yourself, every time you pick up a bottle and smile it off, deep down, you just poisoned yourself. So every time you pick up that cigarette, every time you passively kill yourself willingly, every time you indulge in the underlying motives sparked by, these emotional currents within your mind to be motivated to passively kill yourself and intentionally put your energy into things that destroy you, remember that there is a part inside of you that picked that up and noticed that you didn't care enough about yourself to drop the vices. And so we can sit here and we can make you feel shameful, like I said, or we can understand that you've been failing miserably and it's time to make a fucking change. And you do that by simply removing all the negative habits. Negative habits is what's holding you back. When you remove the negative habits, you are now initiated into your personal development. Now, from there, you will, achieve higher levels of development, and your environment will reflect that. Your level of development will reflect in your environment. But don't confuse that for being a comfort, stagnating subordinate. You have to understand that most people, they feel entitled and they feel developed because they go out and they seek for someone else to provide for their existence. You have to understand that personal development is the beginning of your self-sustenance. It's the beginning of sustaining yourself through your own productivity, through your own levels of accomplishment. And so you can sit there and you can be a slave. There's nothing wrong with being a worker. There's nothing wrong with working. You have to understand that work is work. If you work for someone and you help their cause, that is a cause and you are helping that cause. But you have to also understand that if you feel some type of way about being called that, well, there's a deeper calling within you telling you to evolve beyond that. And so you have to look in the mirror and you have to understand that you need to become the self-sustaining organism, but you're not going to be able to run a business if you're a low-level fuck. You're not going to be able to induce skills rapidly into your consciousness to execute at a higher level. You're not going to be focused and concentrated on what you need to concentrate on to build what you want to build. You have to understand that if you want to build something, it's going to take years. It's going to take 1 to 5 years. And this is the level of vision that you need to have for yourself. And this is why personal development is the only way of life. Because if you can't sustain yourself mentally, if you can't sustain yourself physically, spiritually, well, you're definitely going to fucking suck at the business you said you wanted to do. You started, but failed. And you said you needed an LLC. You said you needed a logo. But after you got the LLC and the logo, all you did was sit there in your fucking inadequacy and wonder what the fuck to do next. So instead of wasting your money on what the fuck you're going to, use to not do anything with your life, understand that you can do more as long as you focus on the individual in the mirror, because the more developed you are, that will reflect in your success. And so the more developed you are as an individual, the more successful you will be. And most people think that success would be finance. Most people think that success would be, material acquisition of things. But the only success is the development of the individual within. The accumulation of overcoming obstacles at such a ferocious fucking level, to overcome mental obstacles, to overcome people, to overcome subjectivity, to overcome your whatever the fuck you went through as an individual, to overcome the cadences that ruminate and contaminate the space in your brain, and to sit there and to actually take steps forward and to stand up during the hill or the walk of life, and to know that the only way is up, and to sit there and fall down and to not pick yourself up is to be a bitch in the life you only get once. So the only way of life is personal development. And you do that by waking up every fucking day with this massive intention to be the best version of you. To sit there and block out every single fucking distraction that is going to retract you consciously. And to sit there in your mind and to really think deeply and to reflect on the individual you need to become. To become the individual you always needed to become, the individual and the example that everyone fucking needs. Because no one has a fucking example, and the only example they have is some alcoholic. So do yourself a favor, look in the mirror, confront that bitch in the mirror, and do everything to fucking disintegrate his existence every day. It's really just integration and disintegration. You have to integrate positive aspects into your psyche, and you do that through superior conduct, and you have to disintegrate anything negative in your life.